send the survey out. Whoever responds to it. Stop voting in December. Do it after the postseason, and then you will get a unanimous list that people mostly agree on.
All right, Mike. Now, okay, last week, appalling NFL.com report talking about the top 100 players at the top of this. At the top of this. We're just going to talk about the first two, and that's it. The first two players Tyreek Hill voted on as being the number one player in the NFL, and then number two, Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't necessarily have a huge issue with Lamar Jackson being up there, but Tyreek Hill being at the very, very top of this list, I have a substantial problem. He's not the best receiver in the NFL. He's just not. I mean, you have the likes of, I would say, Justin Jefferson. Hell, I would even say that Justin Jefferson, and after that, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs is up there, in my opinion. I mean, you have a list of three candidates that are at least comparable. I'm not sure Tyreek Hill is the top of that. Look at that team. It is centered around, passing the ball. And yeah, he's faster. He is absolutely faster. He's a monster and nightmare problems for defenses to try and solve. But is he really the best player in the NFL? And this gives no love to defensive players. That's another thing. Like, that just drives me insane. You cannot tell me that Myles Garrett is not, contending for, the top three in that position.
Well, here's the thing, though. The challenge with this is that this list is compiled by player votes.
I get that.
The problem with this list, every year it comes out, the players vote on it in week, 16 or something. It's in early to mid-December. So the postseason is always excluded from this list.
Yeah.
The reason why Hill is number one is because at that point in the season, and now my memory is sort of cobwebbed, I'm getting a little old, a little gray-haired, but I'm pretty sure Hill had a few injury issues at the end of the season last year. At one point, he was on pace for 2,000 receiving yards and was just unstoppable, and that is why they probably put him as number one. It was that he was just on an absolute tear last season.
Well, he definitely was.
Yeah.
In mad respect, I think he's the most valuable. You could say most valuable. But best player, I don't know. I think you got to go with the likes of Patrick Mahomes. You're going to hate that as a Denver fan. I get it. But Patrick Mahomes, God.
My phone this episode in.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes has to be unanimously, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL right now. And it pains me to say it, but talk about a guy that's dominated the league for the last how many years since what we just said?
Here's the thing though. If we were going based on career, based on overall everything, Mahomes absolutely the best player in football. It's not even a question. But again, it was taking the sample size of his 2023 regular season.
Dude,
which by this,
besides Kelsey.
Well, my point being though, he wasn't having who was the MVP last year? It was Lamar Jackson. So that's
I gotta say, dude, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to create a lot of hate around this, but I have issues with this. You didn't win, and not only that, you choked in the playoffs. You didn't win.
Which I think the issue you have is when the list is voted.
Yeah.
Because Lamar Jackson's playoff woes were not part of this vote. I really think, again, it frustrated me to no end. I think it was after the 2015 season, Von Miller's ranking was super low in spite of him just completely taking over the postseason and the Super Bowl. But the voting happened in December, so it missed that entire performance. I don't know why the NFL does this. You could send out an email survey. The players still get email in the offseason. Do it? I would imagine.
How many of them do you think are overseas? Not contact.
They still. I didn't know that they're.
I'm just saying in a postseason. What do you think?
Probably a fair amount of them, but still, just send the survey out. Whoever responds to it. Stop voting in December. Do it after the postseason, and then you will get a unanimous list that people mostly agree on.
So who's your top player? Top player. I said Patrick Mahomes. Who's your top player?
If we're going with the best overall player in football, it's
just
Patrick
2023.
Mahomes.
Just 2023.
If we're considering the postseason, it's still Patrick Mahomes.
Good. All right.
Yeah,
glad.
it's
unanimous.
Absolutely.
Buford Sports,
Yeah.
number one player. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and I'd say probably Christian McCaffrey goes in at number 2.
There you go.
Yeah.